welcome to the very first episode of the Player One Painter, a place where we paint scenes from video games and make them into realistic landscapes. Now this being the very first episode, I thought we'd start with a game. I think it's called Zelda? I don't know, I heard it's pretty cool, and I definitely don't have a bias of it. I mean, the guy you play as, his name's Zelda, right? And why Zelda? Well, I tell you what, there's a lot of fun elements in the game. If you play the game, it has about 6 different terrains in about 5 feet from each other. I mean, you got a lake, you got a desert, you got snow, you got a whale, you got a forest, you got a mountain with fire. And what better place to start than a nice picture of Hyrule Field? I mean, it has it all. Now, there's many depictions of Hyrule Field, but I have to be honest, unbiasedly, my favorite is in Ocarina of Time. What a fantastic game. Alright, well without further ado, we'll have to suit up, get the correct equipment, and prepare for battle. Let's go! That's better. Now we can go ahead and get started painting. Alright, so the first step in this wonderful endeavor is to paint everything that's in the far background. Think of Legend of Zelda, you know, when you first pop out of those Kokiri village, woods, whatever they're called, you know, you see a vast field for you. So, the very far distance, you see Zelda's castle. So we're going to paint the sky, Zelda's castle, and everything that would be very far away. So, follow me here. Take your blue. Kind of get some color on there, and white. Now the phthalo blue, watch out, it'll eat up your whole sky because it's a very powerful color. So you're probably going to want some more white on there compared to the blue. And you really want to push it on that brush like that. Now with your fan brush, you can make little clouds in the sky. So let's get started here. Just go on the white. Dab the one edge of it, and you'll see what wonders we can do with this guy. Little circles. They go a long way. Say the Hyrulean sun is coming this direction. We're going to make sure all the highlights right here are on this side of the cloud. If you think about this, everything you do in your painting, light's coming down this way. So, makes it easier. So here's how the horizon works. So we're putting clouds and, you know, sky in the sky. Whenever it goes down to the horizon line, it's much lighter. That's just kind of how the atmosphere works. So, make sure you load up the white, get it all down in this horizon line here. Pro tip, if you ever get a little hair from my brush on there, just pop it off with your paintbrush. Can't see it, but it's there. A good mix for a distant mountain would be green and blue. So pop some green on there and blue. Now I'd probably use more blue than green at this point because it's still far back there, the atmosphere is still covering up. So we'll make sure we portray it as such. You also want to get white because white in this mixture will make it still like it's faded far away from us. We can't see any detail yet, which is okay. To get this castle going on, I'm going to switch up a brush here. It's a very small brush. That way, you know, we can get some detail in there. Now, it's not super detailed yet because it's in the background. We're going to use some black and white and a little bit of blue because it's still far away. Join me here.
To get started with this castle, you simply fill in a nice mid-tone gray shape and start adding highlights and shadows to it. Now I'll go more into detail in another painting, but for now, enjoy!
As you can see, we can play around with this castle for a while. But with that said, let's work our way a little bit further. Let's see what else is in this land of Hyrule.
Oh no, look out!
Sorry, the camera was off and I did a few more things that I didn't tell you about, but don't worry, I'll kind of walk you through with my finger. Alright, if you follow my finger here, you see that we added more mountains in the background, have some light coming down hitting these little mountainy things, and we played around the castle a little bit more, and we can't forget that we added all this nice green grass in the background. Combination of yellow and blue and green, and it's awesome. Wrath, yeah. Wow, you're doing great so far. I knew you could. Now, I know there's a mountain you guys are just dying to paint. By that I mean Death Mountain. Death Mountain's the second spiritual stone that you use to open the door of time. And of course, you go in there, you beat the guy, you throw like bombs in his mouth, and he explodes. And once he explodes, you get like a little heart piece. You can't forget it, because if you do, then you have to go back and get the heart piece. And then once you get the spiritual stone, you open the door of time. You play a little flute song, and you get the Master Sword. The Master Sword used to defeat Ganon. So it's a pretty important aspect to this painting. For this next part, you're gonna want to use your palette knife. Oh wait, wrong knife. This palette knife. Now what you're going to want to do with this knife, take the paint like this, scoop it up, push it down like that, grab some white, and you can just mix this and marble this up as much as you want. Now though it's the mid-ground, mountain's still pretty far away, it's not, you can't see all the grass blades yet, so we're going to use some white and some blue as we did before, but more of a contrast. Word of the day. Now the mixture I'm using right now is a combination of blue, alizarin crimson, and white. Mix paint on your knife. We'll go over here. After you use a knife a little bit like this to get the overall shape, take a brush and we'll smooth it out.
We're smoothing out the mountain here. I'm going to take this time to add some highlights and shadows to it. Now, I just have a combination of white and yellow, and I'm just touching the one side of the mountain, because that's where the sun's coming from. So if you think about it, every light also has a shadow too. So the other side of the mountain, go ahead and add some black and blue, and a combination of brown even, just to give it a nice shadow. Now, how mountains work, there's peaks and valleys, so each top of the peak, it's a little bit more light than the below part, so it's a cool mountain. Every mountain's different, so whatever you think it should look like, that's your decision. You do you.
Now what would Death Mountain be without those beautiful, poisonous, smoky clouds hanging above it? Well, don't worry, that's up next. Well, to paint poisonous, smoky clouds, you gotta think like poisonous, smoky clouds. And what does that involve? Well, you got your blue. You got your white, and with that said, you've painted clouds with me before, we're just going to paint it around the mountain. Tell your friends, you made a mountain. And what Hyrule Field would be without Lon Lon Ranch? Coming at you next.
You know, for Lon Lon Ranch, you could just simply fill in a little block of a shape and just touch it with a highlight here and there. I'll probably go more into detail for how to paint simple structures in paintings, but for now we'll just pop it in there. There's grass, it's cool, it's green.
That happened. Now, isn't it cool that whenever you put Lon Lon Ranch and made it all full of contrast, it pushes the castle back super far? That's the effect we're going for. That's the nice, fun illusion of atmospheric perspective. We can even push Lon Lon Ranch back by putting one more plane. So we're going to have a hill coming over the side, and maybe like a dramatic tree just to kind of put an icing on the cake here. Well, you're almost done. Let's do it.
Take a simple mixture of green and brown and just fill in the empty space there.
I'm going to load up with some yellow and some white. You can just kind of dab it like this. That way you got a shadow there and a contrast of a grassy nook. For certain areas in the foreground, sometimes it might be good to go back to this fan brush because just the way it is itself, and it's long, it's narrow, you can get certain like weed and grass effects with it. So I'll load up here with my white, yellow, and maybe some yellow ochre too. We want some nice warm, bright colors here. And if you watch it here, you just kind of dab it and stroke it up there.
You want to spice up the field a bit, touch it with some red and some white to give it some flowery looking shapes.
Last thing we're going to put on this painting is a nice big tree just to give an overall presence of those random trees in Hyrule Field. So we're going to pop around this hill, and we're talking full-blown detail this time. So grab some nice bit of brown, and maybe some alizarin crimson. There we go. Now this is your bravery test. If you cover a bit of Death Mountain, it will make the painting look so much bigger. But if you're too afraid, you could put it over here off to the side, but let's do it. Oh, I'll make it kind of like wavy and twirly. Gnarly. Very gnarly tree. You can do it, come on. Don't be scared. Now, trees are always bigger on the bottom. So we'll start with the shadow side, and then we'll work our way to the limbs. I'm going to take some blue, that mixture that we did before, maybe some black too. We got it. Yeah. Nice dark contrast. Now I don't want to stump you, but we have a nice looking stump so far. But it's not a tree yet. We need some nice big long branches. A very effective way to do the branch is get some of your paint thinner on the brush. Basically you wanted the consistency of ink. Now it's going to glide right all over the painting. So if you want a brush, touch it, wiggle it, jiggle it, pop it down. Some really cool effects. Okay, so I lied. Let's put a few more things in there just to make it more Zelda-y. I was thinking we can put like some of his equipment by the tree, you know, give it some more character that way, like his shield and some bombs and you know whatnot. Just his pack ratty nature will be by the tree. So let's go. Alright, with that there, I think we're going to call this one complete. Well, you made it through the first level. The final thing for the stage is to sign the painting. You take red or black, your name will show up, but just a simple little signature in the bottom. If you want a little rundown of the miscellaneous items we put under the tree, we have the Deku Shield, the Kokori Sword, Giant's Wallet, Fairy Boomerang, some Deku Nuts, and a bomb. So, well, I hope you enjoyed yourself and hope you learned a thing or two. I know that I learned that how a camera works. Join us in next time when we paint another video game landscape. Cheers! Hey guys, you want to take this painting home with you? Well, I'll tell you what, 1 year from now, I'm going to have this painting up for bidding by the power of the internets. But for now, if you want a print of it, or a cup, or an apron, there's a link below that you can do such. If you like this video, give it a like, give it a subscribe for more video game paintings in the future. I also have another video in the description below for a slowed down version of this painting. There's no fast forwarding, it's all for you guys. Have your brushes and your paints ready to roll and want a more detailed look of how the painting's made. So again, thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you soon. Cheers.